Good morning, Schmucker Middle School. Today is Monday, February 3rd, and it is a gold day. Welcome to WSMS. Please give your attention to Lillian for the pledge.
Good morning. Please join me in a moment of silence. Please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remember to show respect, make a difference, and set the bar high. Have a great day. Now back to the announcers.
Attention 8th grade advisory teachers. Please pass out your 8th grade scheduling sheets at this time. Students will need these for special announcements in a few moments. All 8th grade Spark members should be in their regular advisory today.
Attention all SMS Student Council representatives. There will be a Student Council meeting on Wednesday, February 5th, beginning at 8:25 in the seminar room. Please do not arrive before 8:20. Stay in your cars until Ms. Gober comes outside of door A to welcome you inside of school. We will be discussing the Valentine's Day sale and what organizations we will be helping. Hope to see you there.
Remember, students, to please check your newsletters. There's a trivia question for the false prince. You can submit your answers in the IMC.
Attention NJHS applicants. This is a reminder that the NJHS applicant essays begin Tuesday, February 4th. Please check the Google Doc sign up for availability. Also, do not forget that the applications and the letters of recommendation are due this Friday.
Attention current NJHS members. The Executive Board will meet this Thursday in Mrs. Cook's room 307 at 8 a.m. Our February meeting for all current members is this Friday, February 7th.
Please welcome a few special guests.
Good morning. Good morning, Schmucker. I'm Mrs. Eck, and this is Mrs. Hoover, and we're your school counselors. And this announcement is actually just for 8th graders. So 8th grade advisories, please stay tuned. All other advisories, have a great day. So 8th grade teachers, if you have not passed out these pink course requests for high school yet, if you could do that now, we are going to talk the 8th graders through some important scheduling information. So it would be nice if they had these in front of them while we go over this. And if you are passing these out or you already did and you realize a student does not have one of these, either the advisory teacher or the student, please email your school counselor, so either Mrs. Eck or Mrs. Hoover, and we will make sure we get you what you need. And then finally, before I jump into the pink sheet, just one last reminder that students, you should have received an email last week, I think on Wednesday, from us explaining your pink sheet, how that works, and also giving a lot of important information that'll help you with the scheduling process. So everything we talk about today, you can refer back to that email and it will go over a lot of the same things that we are talking about today. So this sheet right here that everyone is getting, we refer to it as a lot of different things. It is your course request for high school, but sometimes we call it the course menu, sometimes we call it the pink sheet, but we are always talking about that same thing, which is all of your class choices for next year at Penn High School.
And just to note, before you just got a blank copy of these, this one actually has individual student names. So this one has actually been created for each individual student. So just as you're passing these out, just make sure you note that.
And your teachers have all made recommendations because every single student has their own individual sheet. Your teachers have all made recommendations for you based on your performance in the classroom. So along the top for your core classes, you should see an X in every class that has been recommended for you, whether it's an English class, a social studies class, a science class. If you are interested in taking a more advanced class than what was recommended for you, or a less advanced class, so maybe you were recommended for honors English, but you'd prefer to take regular English, or maybe you were recommended for regular science or regular biology, but you'd prefer to take honors biology. You can make that choice for yourself when it's time to schedule for classes, but your teachers did make a recommendation based on what they saw with you up to this point in the school year. So you definitely want to at least acknowledge what they recommended for you. That's where they think the best fit is. The only exception is math. Whatever you were recommended for in math, that is what you need to make sure that you sign up for next year. And then the last class that's in the top portion of this sheet is PE. So for physical education, there's a few different options. Most students end up taking regular PE during the school year. That's course number 3000, but there are a few other options. Summer PE registration opens today. So in an email last week, we sent it out earlier than we planned. It said it opened today. That was on Wednesday. It actually really opens today. So you can visit the Penn website and you can fill out the form, but then you also need to go into Penn High School to the bookstore and make the payment for summer PE to complete your registration. We can't take payments here at Schmucker, so you have to go to Penn to do that, and your registration isn't complete unless you do that. The deadline for payment is February 14th, but keep in mind there are limited spots. So if you're waiting until close to February 14th, they might fill up before you get over there. So please just make sure you do that right away if you're thinking summer PE is the best fit for you. There's also a physical conditioning option on your pink sheet this year. If you played a sport here at Schmucker and you plan on playing that sport at the high school, you can select physical conditioning and you would have that in place of a regular PE class.
Some students call that the weights class, if you've heard of that before.
Or weightlifting. And then the other option would be for students who maybe have played a club sport. So maybe you've done swimming outside of school, or you've done lacrosse outside of school, or other sports that you plan on playing at the high school. You can email Coach Cates, that's who runs the weightlifting class over there, to kind of seek out special permission. And on the pink sheet, you should see that email address for Coach Cates to reach out. And then just make sure before you turn in your pink sheet, which they are due a week from today, you make that final selection. So you are either going to select PE, select you're taking summer PE, or you might say that you are doing that physical conditioning option. Mrs. Hoover.
Okay, and now we're going to talk about the bottom half of the sheet. So in the top half of the sheet, you're going to have 5 X's, and you're going to agree to the level of those 5 classes. The bottom half of the sheet has even more choices, okay? So most of you are going to have 4 choices. That's 2 electives that will probably make it onto your schedule, and 2 alternate classes. So basically we want you to choose 4 choices down below, and you can see they're grouped by the kind of class. So you've got your fine arts classes, world languages are all together, business, technology, all these things are together. You're going to choose your top 4, and you're going to number them in the order of your choice. So probably you're going to get on your Penn schedules, number 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 will be alternates. But if a certain class fills up or doesn't fit into your schedule for whatever reason, you'll get option 3 or 4. So you're choosing 4 at the bottom and numbering them 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of these are self-explanatory as what the class is, like painting. You know what you're going to do in there. Some of them you may have no idea what it is. What does it mean, advanced manufacturing? You have an email also from Mrs. Eck back on December 9th. So you can go, if you've already trashed it, you can go to all mail in your email and search for S. Eck, and everything that Mrs. Eck has sent you should be there. And these 2 important emails both say do not delete in the subject line. And there's one that actually has several links to an explanation of what all these courses are. So that's why we're giving you a full week to do this, is because it is a great idea. If you don't already know in your mind, like I'm going to take band and Spanish, then you are going and looking at some of these choices. And so that's also in your email. So just a couple notes about electives. World languages, some people want to get started on that right away. If you are a strong AB student, that's fine to go ahead and choose a language that you intend to do for the next 2, 3, or 4 years. If you're not an AB student, we ask that you wait on world languages. Debate and journalism are 2 other classes under English that are like taking another core class, because there's going to be a lot of research and a lot of writing involved in those classes. So those are classes that we want you to really make sure that you're a really strong student in middle school if you're going to think about choosing those at the high school. Then there are a few classes that are marked as 1 semester classes. They have a little parentheses that says 1 SEM and then a little asterisk next to them. That means that you would actually need 2 of those classes to fill up a year. And so if you're choosing some of those, especially as your first or second choice, you need to make sure that you have 2 one-semester classes. A semester is half the year to fill up an elective time. And you'll have some extra electives, more than 4 then. Another note is early college students. Some of you feel like you have already scheduled your classes, and you have, and those will be in when we teach you how to go and look at your course requests and add course requests. You'll see that those are already in for you. If you have a change that you would like to make to your elective, you've decided you want to do something different, you'll be able to do that when we come. So we are actually going to be using this pink sheet to actually help you register yourself for Penn High School classes. We need you to turn this in to your social studies teacher by next Monday the 10th. That gives you this week to look through things, make choices, and then they want you to sign it at the bottom and a parent to sign it at the bottom. So we want you to be having a conversation about this at home and then bringing it back to your social studies teachers. And then Mrs. Eck and I will be with you in your social studies classroom one day after President's Day. So not next week, but the next week. You'll see one of us in your social studies classroom. We need that pink sheet in order to schedule you into those classes. So if you lose this sheet, there's a copy in your email that you could print out and use that sheet. But we need to have these in your social studies classroom when we schedule with you.
And one note too about early college, for early college students, you might see recommendations up top, but you know you've already scheduled with a representative from the high school. So what you see up top here matters very little for you. It's a little bit different because you are already taken care of as far as scheduling. So we usually get a lot of questions from early college students about that. So please don't worry too much about this, but you can still mark your electives.
Yeah, so if you have questions, I know we just gave you a lot of information. Remember, it is in an email that you already received from Mrs. Eck. Most of that is in written form as well. Your parents also received an email from us with the general information. But if you do have specific questions, we're going to be in your social studies class, and you will be giving you even more information there and be able to answer your questions in person. But if you feel like you have a question that can't wait until then, just go ahead and email us directly. Usually we train you to request an appointment. We don't necessarily need to sit down with you between now and the time we schedule. You can just email us a quick question, and we'll try to get those questions answered through email between now and the time we see you the week after President's Day. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, then please just send us an email. Have a great day.
week.